Hey YouTube. Hi Spotify. It's Kel. And I'm coming back to you today with a quick but important little video message that was on my heart to do because of what I drove through this last weekend when I went through this Oregon wildfire and I drove through it. I as I mentioned before, one of the scariest things in my life. And also, so these flames like came up to the road, and then it was like smoke in these smoke-filled hills and mountains um for like 30 minutes to 60 minutes. And so anyways, when I made it kind of out a little bit and I it seemed like it was maybe clear, a little bit clearer, I went off to a little off ramp because and it had a gas station because I thought maybe I could get some information about the fire and figure out if I'm done with it or if there was going to be more. So and as I mentioned, I didn't have phone service. So I went into this gas station and there was a cashier there and there were a few truck drivers. And so I said to them, "Hey, which way are you guys driving?" And they said the opposite way of me. And so I said, "Oh, well, you probably want to know that there is a big fire out there that I just drove through. So you might want to check it, before you drive into it." And so they said, "Oh, thanks." But what was funny is that it didn't phase them. And they were kind of just like, okay, like another day in the life of being a truck driver that drives across the country. And so it really just struck me as I drove away. And anyways, that the road that I drove ended up getting closed, but it struck me recently just I know we made heroes out of nurses during COVID and that was important, but also I just wanted to say that, truck drivers are heroes of mine. Of course, every podcast, my cats just start to go crazy. So if you can hear it, I'm not going to start it over again because I've done that now twice and I'm not going to do it again. But they seem to like, I don't know, I don't know what it is, but it's the noise or something. But so, um, truck drivers are my heroes, and they're definitely, we said how important nurses were during COVID, but truck drivers also really kept the country going. They kept on providing medical supplies and important and food for everybody across the country, right? And so they really were part of the glue and the critical infrastructure that we have. And the most important thing that struck me recently is just that they also risk their lives every day to do that. So, driving through wildfires, which is seemingly, I guess, a more common occurrence than we ever really talk about for truck drivers. I mean, they're handling huge vehicles, and they really go through crazy weather all the time. And especially, I mean, to think about driving, I was terrified with my car, and babe, no, and to think that they drive these big trucks that are temperature sensitive, some of them flammable. And when I was driving through the wildfire, I saw multiple trucks, pulled over to the side of the road. And I was thinking to myself, oh my God, like imagine them just sitting there like sitting ducks, and that's what it seemed like that's what they were told to do was just pull over. I don't know, but that doesn't seem like a smart move in the middle of a fire. But hey, who am I? I don't know. They had more information than I did. That's for sure. But the whole point, I'm guessing they were told to do that, by the way, not like it wasn't their decision, I'm guessing. But so all of that to say, they risk their lives every day for us, and I'm very, very grateful. And um, I think, we just have certain professions in our country that can be often underrated. And I probably I wouldn't say I've ever underrated a truck driver, but I've just after driving through that fire, I had a serious, serious appreciation for what they do. And I do think they are some heroes of our society. And I'm very grateful. And they risk their lives on the daily. Like, okay, so before I was, it was quite the drive. Before I came across the wildfire, because it was a very long drive, about 2 hours before that, it's crazy. I drove through this crazy storm and then a crazy wildfire. So, but it was a very long drive. It was like 8 hours. So, um, the point is that on this previous to even the wildfire, I drove through this area that was like a crazy storm through these Oregon, like crazy curvy streets. It was very beautiful, but no, not right now. Um, it was very beautiful, but it was actually so dangerous, and I actually saw an accident like had happened right before I passed it. I mean, we're talking, and then these huge trucks drive these insane conditions and just to get us what we need. And I just, again, I just really wanted to pop on and say thank you, because I've never really stopped to think about all that they provide for us, and then also that they risk their lives all the time. So thank you, truck drivers. I really appreciate you, and I will see you guys next time.